Okay, so we start a new topic, which is matrices. This is also quite helpful long term, so very important that we understand the basics. So matrices are basically an array. Okay, an array would be something like this. Okay, it's got variables that may end up containing some elements. Now, these elements could actually change given different conditions, given different requirements. So a matrix, well, you should just know that it's an array. An array can contain different numbers, different elements. We also need to understand that a matrix has to be, or a matrix has to be rectangular, okay? Then we also need to understand that, like I said, it may contain numbers, and this could be entries, any type of entries, or could be elements. Then another important factor is that matrices are have got a specific order. Okay, so for example, you could say a matrix of M by N. So this is a specific order. So M refers to the columns, the rows, then N refers to the columns. Okay, so we've got an example here. Okay, so this is, if I said this is a matrix of M by N, okay, so it means that we have M rows and then N columns. So you see here we're starting from this first element, which will be like we said here, it's ij. Here you see that it's 1 1, so we're replacing these I and j with specific positions now, because these are almost like variables. So here we're replacing them with specific positions. So this is position 1 1, okay, column row number 1, column 1, so they meet here. This is 1 2, meaning that we are still in row number 1, but then column number 2, and so on and so forth. You'll see that we'll go on till we get to this last element here, which is M by N, and this is the gives you the order of the matrix. So you have columns, these are columns going down like that, then these are rows. For example, if I had a matrix like this, so we have 3, this is a 3 by 2 because we have 2 columns, and then we have 3 rows. So we start with the rows, which is 3, and then the columns is 2. So this is a 3 by 2 matrix. Okay, so that there are other things that we can still we need to master before we can do the algebra on matrices. So we need to be able to recognize the main diagonal. So the main diagonal of a matrix moves from left to right, and it descends. So for example, you may have I don't know if you may have elements like that. So if you got that and that, this forms the main diagonal, and this is quite important. You'll see in later videos. And then we also need to know the row matrix. This is when you have one row. Okay, so you don't have many rows, so you just have one here, but you still have a number of columns, so that becomes a row matrix. You can also have a column matrix, so you have one column, but you have a number of rows like that. So this one is called the column matrix. Then a square matrix will have same number of columns and rows. So for example, I can have 1, 2, and 2, 3, like that. This will be a square matrix. I can also have, let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 8, 7, 6. You'll see here that we have 3 columns, okay, and then we have 3 rows. So these, here we have 2, and then here we have 2 as well. So this is a 2 by 2, and then this is a 3 by 3. These are called square matrices, and these are probably the most employed when in most mathematical scenarios. You'll mostly find at least one square matrix, so we need to recognize them when we see them. Okay, so if there's some concepts that we need to really carry with us as we expand on our knowledge, it's the first would be the identity matrix. So this is probably the first important concept that I think we should be able to remember. So this is probably our nugget number 1. Okay. So this is our nugget number 1. So when we look at the identity matrix, all the elements are 0. You'll see that this is 0, that's 0. Everything else is 0 except the ones that we find in the main diagonal. These are equal to 1. So this is something that you need to be able to carry with you, because sometimes under pressure you may start thinking, where's the diagonal? So you really have to know that. I've seen students sometimes do this. Everything is right, but they just end up messing this up like that. So you really have to know what the identity matrix is if you want to master these concepts. So this is probably, I would say, the number 1 concept that we need to carry with us.